one thing I really, the one thing that kept ringing in my head when you were talking is trust God, like trust God. In all your ways, acknowledge Him. He will direct your paths. Trust God, trust God, trust God. Now, I mean, I'm more of a practical person. I like being practical. Anytime I'm talking to my mom, and I'll be like, and sometimes I say, let's leave Christianity aside, and she'll be like, you can never leave Christianity aside. That's the truth. You can never leave Christianity aside. But I like being practical because sometimes we lean too much on Christianity and forget that we are in the world. So I understand you say we should trust God. I'm sorry, Miracle. I'm not attacking you. I just want
No.
I just want, because I've been in a stage in my life at some point where if I'm listening to you, I mean, trust me, I'm just being truthful. If I'm listening to you, I won't even want to hear you finish, because I've been in that stage where I thought I trusted God and He failed me. So if you get what I'm trying to say, so what I want to ask is, I know you say trust God, and right now in the situation where we are, it's easy to trust God.
Yeah.
So what would you say for people that are coming from that place where they're not there yet? They're not in that place and time where trusting God is their number one option, which I know it should be for everyone. That's our advice to everyone. And I mean, that's what we'll advise them to do. Or maybe for people who think they've actually trusted God and there's actually no worked their way. Maybe, for some reason, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, one, I thank you for being transparent and everything like that, because at the end of the day, I think that you make an important point that a lot of times we don't necessarily, like you say, we feel like it's not going our way, or we feel like, Lord, I'm trusting you, but where are you? I've definitely have been there. I've definitely have been there. And the thing is, or what I found, again, I have to look back at that girl I was, you know what I'm saying? So what I find now is that even those times God was carrying me through, even those times, those things I didn't understand, even those things that, I would call, and it's so funny, every time I tell about my testimony, I'm like, I call certain things debacles. I call certain things like, just all these issues I was going through or whatever, but it led me to be where I am, so even if you're in that moment, that's okay. At the end of the day, God still is there. God is still carrying you through. You may not see it and you may not understand it at the time, but all I would say is, aside from trusting God, is hopefully that encourages you to know that He's there. I don't know if you all are familiar with that poem, Footprints in the Sand, and things like that. It's like that type of example where, our hardest times, there's that one set of footprints, and we're thinking that it's us. We think that's our feet, but that's really God carrying us through the situation. So, it depends on whatever someone's particular situation, obviously. But for example, okay, if you are working a job, right? If we just talk about a job or something like that. So you're working this job and you hate it, and you're just going every day just to make the check and all these different things, which we do. A lot of us, do and have to do. But what I guess my thing is, if you hate the job, right, or if there's something about the job that's bothering you so much, start to think about, well, what is that? What is that thing that's bothering me about the job? Why do I hate this job? Am I not using my skills? Am I not growing? What is it about the job that's making me feel this way? And then again, you may start to see like, okay, well, maybe it's that I'm not using my talents here. Okay, well, you can continue to work the job while you figure out ways where it's like, okay, well, what else can I do? Okay, I'll tell you guys an example about me. One of my first jobs out of college, I ended up moving to Florida on my own, and I worked at Walt Disney World. Great place to be, happiest place on earth, right? I'm working there and, doing entertainment and stuff like that. Now, maybe after the first year or so, I started to notice that, okay, I'm in the same position. I want to do more with this company, but I'm only being kept at a certain place. And it was like, when am I going to be seen for more? You know, all the different things that you feel at a job. But what I did at the time, it was like, okay, well, I'll find ways to use my skills outside of the job. So I focused more so. I did my job. I got my weekly check, did all that stuff to maintain my lifestyle that I was living at the time, because I was living on my own. But at the same time, I found ways to perform. I ended up meeting my mentor. I, submitted myself for projects, built my resume as an actor, different things that I was doing at the time to hone my skills and become, again, who I am now. But so that's what I'm saying. It's like I found those other ways, and almost to the point where I got comfortable with that. I was like, okay, fine. I'm doing my thing outside of Disney, and I'm still getting my weekly check. Great. But then I want to say maybe 4 years in working for them, I started to feel a shift. I started to feel the shift happening, but still I was like, well, I'm still fine because I'm doing, I'm working my weekly job and I'm getting my check and I'm doing things outside. I was starting to do music and stuff at that time. So I'm like, I'm great right here. But eventually, by the time year 5 came, it got to the point where they just let me go. They let me go randomly. And it was crazy how it happened, because I'm like, where did this even come from? And then come to find out, like, there were things that I could have fought when they said that they were letting me go, because they were like, oh, you have all these points against you in the system. And I'm looking at this page of what they're saying. I'm like, they counted stuff like when I took bereavement, stuff that they shouldn't have been counting. And it didn't make sense at the time, because I'm like, why would they do this, right? But I had to think beyond that, because again, I had felt the shift over the past year, the year before it happened. So for me, when I look at that situation, I feel like God just was pushing me out. He knew I wasn't going to leave because I was getting a weekly check. So he was like, get out and do what I need you to do. Now, at that time, I tried to make it work. I tried to stay in Florida another year after that, try to get other little side jobs and stuff like that. Every job I got after that, something would happen, and then I was back with no job. And I was like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm on my own. I'm living my own life. I'm in my 20s, got my own place, and now you took my state of job, and, what you want me to do, And the last thing I wanted to do was come back home, move back to Georgia. That was the last thing I wanted to do. But it got to the point where there was nothing else I could do but do that. And I didn't get it. I was like, why? Like, why did this happen? I moved back to Georgia. One of the things that my mom helped me to do at that time, she helped me to start my business, which is Miracle Plays. She helped me do that. It's the beginning stages of what I'm doing now, but she helped me do that. And then, and a lot of other things happened in the process that led me to move up to Atlanta and basically build what I have now, and eventually meet my husband and all those different things. And so that's the things, like in Florida. Now, mind you, this is another part of my story, but mind you, that whole time I was praying for my husband and like, well, I'm single, Lord, where is he? What was me doing that whole thing? And then, mind you, the last thing I wanted to do was move back to Georgia, but of course I meet my husband here in Georgia, and so it's just one of those things where it's like, you're going through stuff and you don't necessarily see why things are happening the way they are. 2019 was another example for me. That's a whole, look, I'll tell y'all that when you want me to. But, the same type of situation where it's like, I don't understand why things are going the way they're going. But you can still, again, do things to maintain your lifestyle. I wouldn't tell you to just quit your job or something if that's if you hate it that much. Don't quit it or whatever. Just do what you can and figure out what you can do in the process to get closer to what you want. That's what I would say to someone in a long, drawn out way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, from what Miracle have said, I was able to pull out, the importance of having support system, because she mentioned her mom, her mom was there to help and all that. And I feel like that is one of the ways, we can achieve that, but having, a support system. And that support system could just be anything. If you're for people that live abroad, I'm talking about most Blacks, Africans that live abroad, their moms, their relatives are usually back home in Africa. Most people, they don't have people around them, like moms, to help them. You could get a child care, or just get somebody, a trusted friend or something. You need that support system, for your mental well-being, honestly, to be honest. Yeah, God bless our mothers. I just love that point where you said your mom was there to help and